The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
What's up, besties? This is episode 24, scorn 7 years ago, of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes, and I am still the second part of that title. Fort Lauderdale, if you're listening to this on release day, I will be at the Gamer Comic Expo this weekend, November 8th, 9th, and 10th, doing some panels as well as doing a comedy show on Friday and Saturday night. It's going to be super fun, so come nerd out with me. Also, on November 17th, I'm going to be headlining at the Vacillate Wine Bar in Fort Lauderdale, so if you'd like, come hang out. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a free show, and as always, all of the details to my upcoming shows are going to be in the show notes of the podcast, or you can find them on my Instagram at Mike Valdes or my website, whoismikevaldez.com. This episode is the very funny Carlos Hernandez. Carlos is an actor, an improviser, and a stand-up comic, and honestly, this is a really great episode, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. So without further ado, please enjoy Carlos Hernandez. Hey everybody, this is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes, and today I have a great guest with me, Carlos Hernandez.
How's it going?
What's up, dude?
It's chilling, man.
Yeah, man.
Chilling.
Well, before I ask you the first question, the
Sure.
first thing we like to do here at Childlike at Best is we like to take a Flintstones vitamin.
Okay.
We already briefly spoke about this, but...
dude, you know, I already told you. This could be an issue.
Yeah.
Do not tell my parents about this. I don't know how long it's been since I haven't had this.
Is it something you could still get in trouble for as an adult?
I mean, no. No, right now, you know what I do right now?
What is that?
And it's definitely an issue. Should we take it like now? Or
Yeah, please do, yeah.
Sure, thank you. This is good. This is very good.
Brings back memories?
Yeah.
Memories of things that you couldn't have?
For sure. Like, literally, because my parents bought it, like, for a while.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, vitamin. I don't even know what vitamin it is. The F, whatever.
Yeah.
Because F.
Yeah.
And there was a time that like they bought it so much that I would eat it. Like I was just eating it. Like they were like, where the hell did the Flintstone vitamins go? And I was like, I ate them. I'm trying to better myself and try to be healthier.
There's been more than a handful of guests that have had the same problem.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They're just that good.
As you were taking that Flintstones vitamin, can you please tell the audience where you grew up?
Yes. So I grew up in Mexico, Mexico City. My parents are Cuban.
Yeah.
They moved there my dad was living there already. He brought my mom from Cuba, and I was born there in 1994. Lived there for 10 years of my life.
Holy cow.
Grew up there. Yeah. It's a good place. I grew up in Mexico City, Distrito Federal, which is like the capital. I mean, it was really cool.
Walk me through it, because
Yeah.
Mexico is always a place I've always wanted to go.
Sure.
And Mexico City sounds, I mean, it's probably got to be the most like touristy of it all.
I would say so. I mean, there's definitely like Cancun and Acapulco, which no one should go to now for other reasons. But I used to go there all the time. But in Mexico City, it's definitely nice. It's not as insane as people make it out to be.
Sure.
Right now, it for sure is, because there's just a lot more violence over there. But when I was living there from like 1994 to 2004, it wasn't that bad. I mean, for me, I never really saw it as that bad. We moved here because it was getting worse. Like at one point. But I used to like be super chill. Like I was super happy when I was living over there. I was sad when I had to move here, but it was obviously...
Yeah. Well, and also you're in a formative time of your life where you don't want to leave your friends and things like that. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So what kind of kid would you say that you were when you were at school?
Oh, man.
Who did you hang out with at the lunch table?
So I was definitely... So in Mexico, we had, elementary recess, etc.
Yeah.
I was always for sure like the class clown.
Sure.
But the class clown that his parents made him get A's. So I was like a combination of a nerd and a class clown.
Right.
And it was it's definitely an odd combination. It's probably made me what I am today.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was definitely that kid that always like talked too loud, or like made the teacher laugh and made the kids laugh for like the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. But also like his parents made him get A's in school, so he had to work hard. I was just always super like extra, like without even trying to be. Like, Like just like I was clumsy, super clumsy, still am super clumsy. So that made a lot of people laugh, and I was like, all right, I discovered that early on. So I like tapped into that a little bit early.
So going into high school and things like that, were you kind of the same?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, in high school, I got more into, like, my grades and stuff.
Sure.
Just because I mean, it was always like my parents always like put that on my plate. Like if I ever got like a C or a B, like it was always like a huge deal in that household.
I feel like that's very, and I could be wrong because I've only known immigrant parents, but I feel like that's a very immigrant parent thing.
Super immigrant
where
parent.
It's like you need good grades to go to a good college so you can get a good degree and get a good
do
job.
all the things that we couldn't do, and if you don't do it, then why do we bring you here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, guilt, for sure.
Especially that first generation American.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Like literally what a pressure. Of like, we came here, took you from your childhood, 10 years old to bring you here. You better do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
So I was still doing that, and I was definitely getting good grades and all that. But I never tried to not be funny, and people always found me as like the funny kid. You know, I was never like never tried to be like a jock or play sports or any of that stuff because that was just not me. So I was just always like, there was like soundboards on, soundboards like MySpace when they had all that stuff, dude. So my soundboard was filled with like Matt TB soundboards, like Miss Swan or like
Arnold
Stewart, all that stuff. So I would always like do those imitations.
That's amazing.
And like always make people laugh through that
Dude,
stuff.
you are opening a box that I have not opened in my memory banks right now of like God, prank calls that I would do with those.
So
with
I
those
used to do that stuff too. I was always, I was that guy, prank calling people.
Man, that's
and no one
so
really.
funny.
I was like secretly.
I'm a cop, you idiot. Like I would do that all the time, dude.
Oh man, yeah, I did this thing. Oh my God, this is like my favorite, and I don't even remember where I saw it, but it's like you call a pizza restaurant, or you call like a restaurant, whatever restaurant, and you call them. You're like, hey, I'm gonna put an order in. And you put in you spend 5 minutes doing an order. It's such an asshole thing to do. But I don't know, I was like 14, so I thought it was hilarious. So I would call like any restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Pizza Hut, whatever. Be like, oh, can I put in an order of 2 large pizzas, extra cheese, whatever. Be like, hold on, I have a friend that's coming over. So I would put it on hold, call another restaurant, and then immediately I would put that one on hold, be like, hey, can you repeat the order that I just told you? And I would tell them to say that order to the other restaurant.
Wow.
And they were just on a conversation, like, that's not what you said. Like, oh, 2 extra cheese? Yeah, I said 2 extra cheese. Yeah, okay, yeah, you said 2 extra cheese. So it was so dumb.
It's like your own version of Home Alone.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Pretty much.
Manipulating sounds and people talking to actually thinking that they were real.
Oh my God.
Or whatever. That's so funny to me.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you weren't like a jock or anything, but were you into like theater or drama or anything?
I was always into movies, always into TV shows. Since I was a kid, I always was into that and always wanted to do it.
What was your earliest fandom? Like, what were your favorite kind of stuff growing up?
Great question.
Yeah.
So, like, super young, I used to love the Rugrats, which is really cool that you have this here. Mm-hmm. Like, heavily, was into the Rugrats.
Me too.
Until an age that was just not healthy to be into the Rugrats. But
I think the age that we all stopped was when All Grown Up came out. Yeah. We're like, I'm too old for this.
No. I'm too grown up for this, for sure.
How young would you say that you were when you found, or when you came to the discovery of, like, I want to be an actor. Like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, man. Well,
I was super young, too.
Yeah. So I was in Mexico at the time.
Okay.
And there was this thing called, do you remember Wanadu City in Sagres Mills?
Bro, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God. We can talk about that forever. Well, there was something like that in Mexico. And there was this thing.
¿Qué vas a hacer, City?
Yeah, pretty much right. ¿Qué vas a hacer, City? Yeah. ¿Qué vas a hacer, City? Yeah. Pretty much, but I don't remember exactly. But it was like, Child Labor City or whatever.
Right.
So we had.
That's too real.
It is. So they had this, like, you know how you could do anything, like a pretend to be a firefighter or whatever.
Right.
And there was this one, and there was a show called Chabelo in Mexico, which was pretty much like a kid's. Like, it's just like a kid's daytime show. Okay. They played like games. It was cool. I used to watch it every weekend. It was like on Saturday mornings. That actually reminds
me of a PBS show very similar called Zoom.
And
it was just like kids like playing games, and like they invented their own stupid language called Ubby Dubby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot less cool than it sounds.
I think a lot of these are a lot less like just like these shows, dude. Like, I remember this show, oh my God, on Disney Channel in Spanish. I used to watch it called like Arts Attack or something like that. Or
what is that?
I don't remember.
Art Attack.
Or like Sap. It was some weird name.
Can I tell you, it is one of those things where I think you're right because it sounds familiar, but I don't remember a thing about it.
In Spanish, it was called like something sappy something. It was a name that had nothing to do with Art Attack.
Sure.
But I remember it was called Art Attack because I saw it later here. But it's shows like that don't really like. It's like, what are we gonna do today? That
exactly.
Stuff. But this guy, anyway. So I'm literally going so off topic.
No, it's fine.
But Chabelo was like this host, and it was a huge institution in Mexico. It was like he pretended to be a kid. He would be like, "Hola, mi nombre es Chabelo." Literally talk like that through the entire show. This guy was 70 something for real.
He's like
wearing
Herman.
shorts, pretty much,
Yeah.
but older and just like he looked like a grandfather all the time.
Okay.
And he dressed with shorts and like a shirt, like just like like a pattern shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went to this thing, and they were like, "Oh, become like Chabelo, like be Chabelo," and like you could put like shorts at this like Wanadu city, que quieres hacer city in Mexico.
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, great. We're gonna pretend that you're Chabelo. Okay, 3, 2, 1." And then like I did the voice, and I was like it was like a fake Chabelo show.
That's awesome.
And dude, from there I was like so happy, and they would give you the tape at the end, and I still have that tape at home. It's like me like pretending to host, like super like jittery and excited.
Wow.
And from there I was like, this is so cool. And I'm just from, I don't know, every other thing I see when I would watch even like novelas.
Yeah.
Which in Mexico there was like kids novelas. That's how like novelas are glorified over
Really?
there. Oh my god, yeah. There's like novelas for children.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I can think of that's like for young people that's like a drama is like Degrassi.
Oh, it was sort of like that, but way worse. Like it's so
like
dramatic.
Riverdale?
Almost. I guess so. I guess like Riverdale.
Yeah.
Because it was like, there was this one called like Adventures in Time or in Time, Aventuras en el Tiempo. And it was like this group of kids that discovered a time machine. And they would go back, of course. And they would go back in time, etc. And when I would watch that, I was like, oh man, I want to do that. Like I knew that it was fake, but I was like, I know it's fake. Nobody knows it's fake, but I know it's fake.
Yeah.
But I want to be one of the people inside that know that it's fake.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And those novelas were way too dramatic for kids. Like when you think about it.
Of course, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
But that really got me into it. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Insane
man.
how that was like what actually tapped into my.
Because what's funny is that in America, like from my side of the coin,
Sure.
you had these novelas or whatever, and for me it was like the opposite. It was the same thing of like kids television, but it was comedies. So it was like all that and Drake and Josh and things like that.
Well, I watched those too when because Nick at Night.
Of course, Nick at Night
was
and
super thankful.
Yeah, Snick. Like they had those teen Nick things.
Yes. Yeah. I used to be into Drake and Josh and all too, but that was actually funny. Like I remember feeling that I was like,
it's
this is like
funny.
Good comedy. It is, right?
Yeah.
It's weird
it's
how like
still funny.
Yeah, but it definitely is funny. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that was definitely what got me a little bit more, and it just tapped my like creative like brain. I always knew that I sort of wanted it. Just I have no idea why.
Right.
But then when I did that, it was like a spark that I was like, I really want to do this as much as possible. Yeah.
And so going into movies, because you're saying you're a movie guy.
Yeah.
What were the kinds of movies that you were into growing up?
Oh wow. Growing up, well, it's weird for like a kid to like this movie, but I was super into Forrest Gump.
Sure.
I think my teacher showed us like in middle school, it was like 6th grade.
Wow,
and
way
I
too young
remember
to watch that
way
movie.
too young to watch that movie. A kid's legs are out of his body.
Yeah.
And she was just like, watch it, history.
The guy has literally the worst girlfriend.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
keeps coming back.
And then that's what we idolize as girlfriends now, and what girls think of as boyfriend. It's just, it's weird.
It's so bad. She's a horrible person.
She was so mean, dude. I remember I was like, oh, well, I guess if that's what it is, then whatever. I guess I'll sink into it. But yeah, I was so obsessed with Forrest Gump for a while. I still am. Every time that movie comes on,
it's a great movie.
I love it. I remember because I used to like kids movies. Like Toy Story was my jam for so long.
Were you just like a Tom Hanks dude?
Oh my god, yeah, I guess so. I never really thought about it that way. I do love Tom Hanks.
The year that Forrest Gump came out, he actually won 2 Oscars.
Well, right. I think he won
lead actor for Forrest Gump and supporting for Philadelphia.
Oh wow, yeah,
crazy, right?
Yeah,
that's how freaking good he was.
He's insane. And then he did literally Woody that same year.
Exactly.
I think it was 94.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, where's that guy now?
I mean, Right?
Yeah.
Hope he's
Poor
still
guy.
working.
Yeah, poor
He has
guy.
that movie. What's his name? Oh my God, the Mr. Rogers movie coming out.
Yeah. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah, I love that guy. He can do anything.
Can I tell you, when I saw that trailer, I looked at him and I was like, he looks nothing like Fred Rogers.
He doesn't.
But I don't care.
I don't care either, dude. I sincerely was like, I want to cry forever. I didn't even watch Mr. Rogers, and I'm already like.
The thing is,
I
though,
felt
he
so
he
in touch with
embodies
it.
the guy, though.
Oh, 100%.
He embodies him 100% because I did watch
You did.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. So
And-
Chavelo was sort of like Mr. Rogers, just to give you an idea.
Okay,
That's a better
cool.
way to think about it now
Yeah,
that you
and
mentioned
so
that. Yeah.
he literally embodies that guy. Like, he was
yeah?
just 100% the nicest guy in the world. Like,
Yeah?
there will never be anyone nicer than
So
that guy.
kind. I've seen like
Yeah.
interviews on this documentary. I don't know if you saw. I forgot what it's
He
called.
wants to be my neighbor.
Oh man, what a wonderful dude.
Yeah. Were you more of a drama guy or a comedy guy?
Oh, I was
or?
way more into a comedy guy for sure.
Sure.
Jim
Guy for
Carrey
you?
was huge for me.
Yeah.
The Grinch movie, The Mask. Me and my dad used to watch The Mask because my dad laughs at the dumbest things.
Bro, my dad's the same way.
Oh my God, the dumbest things. He either watches like full on Jason Statham shit or he's
Yeah.
laughing at the dumbest, like literally the newest Adam Sandler movies that are not good. I mean, he supposedly just did really well in this new drama that's coming out. But anyway, besides the point. Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, I was super huge into him too.
Yeah, me
Billy
too.
Madison. Oh my God, Happy Gilmore. I still have all those DVDs.
Those are some of my favorite
classics,
movies.
Dude.
Yeah.
Classics. I love those. I used to watch those constantly because we couldn't afford HBO or any of that, so I was watching those all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, so definitely Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, all those guys. And I didn't even realize like that Jim Carrey was like in Living Color or like Adam Sandler was in SNL when I was growing up. So I was just like, oh wow, this is wonderful. And then when I realized like people came out of those shows, it was like, wow.
Yeah, I found that out as well. And SNL came out with these DVDs. I don't know if you have them.
Yeah, like the highlights or
those
that.
like best of or whatever. And I was like, oh, I like Adam Sandler, and it's only $5 at Walmart. Or
Right.
like, I like Chris Farley, and whatever.
Right.
And you would watch them, and you're like, dude, this is incredible.
Insane.
It was so dumb, but at the same time, it was like the funniest thing.
Oh,
Which,
yeah.
granted, when you're 14, that's like the perfect
That's
age
what I'm
for
saying.
SNL.
It's perfect for
You
that.
know what I mean?
I feel like everybody like as favorite SNL, and everybody says this, but everybody's like main SNL like whoever they love the most is like when they were like 14, 15.
Yeah. Well, mine.
I mean, I could see how like totally if you because I didn't watch all the like old episodes until I was like older, and I realized like, oh my God, Netflix has all these seasons or like Hulu, and I was like, I'm gonna watch all that.
Yeah,
But,
and I was kind of the same as well. If it wasn't for those DVDs, I wouldn't have really seen the Dana Carvey sketches or Phil Hartman or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the cast that I thought was great was like the Will Ferrell cast. You know?
They're oh my God. Well, how many people are in that cast? Jimmy Fallon got in that cast
Jimmy
later
Fallon,
on.
Molly Shannon.
Oh, Molly Shannon.
And, Rachel Dratch. All these.
Yeah, I
great
forgot. Oh my
people.
God, what's this girl? The one who did this woman's name? What's forgot? Will Ferrell. They did the cheerleader sketch. Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry.
She's
yes.
great too.
She's so great.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
cast is
so
wonderful.
good.
Just Will Ferrell on his own, like the fact that he was even in SNL is insane. Like I never even realized that. Like I said, till later on, and I was all these great people that came out of that show.
The thing that's insane too is like we're sitting here talking about how great Will Ferrell is, and pretty much anyone in our generation would be like, yeah, he's the funniest guy ever,
For
right?
sure, yeah.
And I heard a podcast that he was on, and he said that he read one review about his first season on SNL, and they
like tore him apart or something.
They literally were like, he is the most annoying person.
Well, I could
on
see
Saturday
that.
Night
Like
Live.
I could see that when there's like his energy is just like out of this world when it comes, and his just commitment.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Like
It's
I'm
the best.
super jealous of all the fact that he put. Like I try hard to commit when it comes to anything. Like but his commitment is just out of this world. So I can see how people could
When
think
it
of that
comes
as
to comedic commitment, dude,
right?
It's Will Ferrell and Sacha Baron Cohen.
I agree. Oh,
like,
wow,
it's
dude.
like,
Sacha Baron Cohen is just on another
the
level.
fact that that guy doesn't break character blows my mind.
Seriously.
Like, it's unreal how he stays in character during Borat.
Have you seen like the Who Is America series?
That's one of my favorite things ever.
Wow, dude.
That sketch, it's not a sketch, but it's like...
Well, it's real.
Yeah,
that's the craziest.
it's real.
Yeah,
and
the fact that he gets away with this. Yeah.
He's a painter, and he goes up to this woman, like saying that he wants to like have a gallery of all of his paintings.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that he paints from using feces.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen it? It's like like unreal because this lady is like looking like you're kidding. She's trying to be like, am I getting punked? Like, what is going on? But he's so serious.
Oh, wow.
And she's so like in the artist. Well, it's your art.
Right,
like,
your art is your art.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, man.
There's a part that I literally, when I saw it, I laughed so hard.
Right.
And the thing is, like, when there's two different kinds of laughter. There's like laughter when you're with people.
Yeah.
And that's very common because energy fluctuates.
You just feed off it, yeah.
When you're in your room by yourself and something makes you laugh really hard.
That's
the funniest thing ever.
Dude, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I was thinking about that recently, just like the way, like, I could watch a movie that I've watched by myself, and I'm like, haha. And then you watch it with a group of people, and it just becomes like, so much funnier.
Exactly.
But I totally get that. Like a show like that, when they make you laugh and you're cackling on your own, and you sound like a crazy person when you're watching it on your AirPods on your phone in the middle of everybody, that's when it's a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I that's when you know it's real. Yeah. No, that show does that to me. It's not even a sense of like laughter. It's like shock. Like how did we get here? The fact that these people, he's getting away with this is crazy.
The funniest part is that he's talking to her this whole time, and he's like holding this canvas, and then he just out of nowhere goes, "Forgive me, I've just gotten some inspiration."
Oh no! Oh no! That's disgusting.
It's so
hilarious.
freaking funny. And she's like looking around like, what is going on? Like, please tell me this is a joke.
Dude. Yeah, he gets away with anything. I'm pretty sure because he believes it, and then everybody else around him believes it, and he's able to get away with all that stuff.
It's kind of insane. Yeah,
for sure.
So I want to shift gears a little bit. When you were a kid, like, what would you say were your favorite kind of like snacks and things like that?
Well, Flintstone gummies for one.
Yeah, that was one.
Cookie Crisp, like I used to eat like Cookie Crisp cereal, like just off the bag,
really,
off the box. Yeah, because it was like cookies, but they weren't like, it was like you could pretend that they weren't really cookies. So it was like, oh, mom, I'm eating cereal, healthy. So I used to eat those. Gummies, I just love gummies a lot. And there was this thing in Mexico called they have them here. It's called Takis.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
like this like spicy
like
little chips. It's like a little roll. Yeah, I used to eat those a lot.
Those are awesome. Yeah. One of my favorite memories, and I don't know if you can relate, but the ice cream man was like the best moment of your week.
For sure.
When you were 8 or 9. Like
when I was like 7, there was like this thing that, because there was like a truck that sold tamales. You know what tamales are?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So they sold tamales. It was this little like, it was this guy that would come to like my family's apartment, and he was like, tamales oaxaqueños, and it was like constant. He would be there for like 5 minutes saying that, and then right after the ice cream man would come. So it was like tamales and then ice cream.
That's awesome.
Like back to back, and then it was.
The funny thing is, what I remember, dude, is like the ice cream man sold everything.
Oh, really?
Like, he sold ice cream. He had toys. He had
toys.
Yeah.
Like a Happy Meal of an ice cream. What is this?
He had everything.
Oh my
dude.
God.
He sold like I don't know if he sold. He did. I definitely remember at one point he sold empanadas.
What?
Yeah,
dude. Where was
and
this?
Ice cream. Like,
where was it? Here, Miami? Of course, in Hialeah, dude. That's all you had to say. Absolutely, dude. In Hialeah, you can literally buy anything from the same truck for sure. And that the truck used to be a school bus that like midday I used to drive for sure. Yeah.
And so I would always get my ice cream of usually my favorite television character with the weird gumball eyes.
Yes.
You know, like the Ninja Turtles.
SpongeBob was definitely
SpongeBob.
my choice for that one. Yes.
Yeah. Or I would get that, or a snow cone, and then I would get those candy cigarettes. Have you ever had those?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Usually it's because they had Spider-Man on the box or something, so that's why I would get it.
How cool that they used to sell that to kids, huh?
Right? Yeah, that's not a problem
that's
at all.
a thing. Now they sell fucking like candy jewels or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, well, now they actually sell cigarettes to kids.
Oh, well, that's true. That's a great point.
So, so you were definitely a cereal guy then.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So Cookie Crisp was one.
Cookie Crisp was one. I used to love the Oreos, like the
Oreos?
The Oreo cereal. Oreos, yes. Yeah, all those things
awesome.
started coming out, like, and I just really was into them.
Do you remember any of those cereal commercials?
Oh my God! I just remember them being like, "What is it?" Like it was just like that voice. Wow, what's happening? And it was like if you eat it, like you're just gonna turn into a dog. Like
Cookie Crisp, from what I remember, I could be completely wrong.
The little
I'm going
wolf, I think it was.
only off of memory, but like if you ate them, you would turn into a wolf.
Yes. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like you would turn into any animal.
Yeah.
Like that the thing
Crazy.
was insane, dude.
That's so funny.
Like what's happening?
Like the
and then
mom is like, "What happened, Timmy?" And you're like, "Cookie Crisp."
That's insane. It's like that. And parents were like, "Well, yeah, I guess."
Yeah,
be a wolf.
the 90s is the only time, and I've said this before on the podcast.
Sure.
90s is the only time where you could get away with having something that was mystery flavored.
That's true.
Because like, shouldn't you be telling me what this is?
It should. You should be. There's no reason why. Like, what is the? What is it? Give me the ingredients.
Yeah.
What makes this mystery right now? Dude.
And every kid back then was like, "Oh, I want to know what it is."
And it was just like grape and strawberry, or something like totally like it was like they just mixed two flavors.
Gasoline again.
Oh no! Oh man, Timmy's dead.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
So one of my favorite things to do on this podcast is I like to review a cereal with my guest.
Oh, please.
So I spoke with my sponsors over at Funko.
Oh, yes.
Now, by sponsor, I mean I like them.
I like how you called it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by spoke to, I mean I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me.
Oh, yes.
So
at least you just treated them. Period.
So the cereal I got for you, I'm actually very
bag.
excited about this. Funko brand Scooby-Doo cereal.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's just like Scooby snacks.
Yeah, we're about
that's
to have
immediately
Scooby
what I
snacks.
thought of. I used to watch Scooby-Doo like crazy, too.
Yeah, I was hoping we could talk about that, actually.
Yes, dude. And Scooby-Doo in Spanish is so weird, like watching it in Spanish and then watching it in English.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
please tell me about that.
Oh, Shaggy was just like, the way that they like redid Shaggy's voice, it was like, ¿Qué puedo decirte, Scooby? And it was way higher than it should be.
Sure.
Just like things were so like,
I mean,
the way
Casey
they dubbed
Kasem's
voices,
voice was high anyway.
It was, for sure. But like, it was just, they just do extra, I feel like, when they dub these voices.
That's so funny, dude.
It's true. But no, dude, oh wow, this is like lovely right now. This reminds me of like going to like a vending machine in middle school when I wasn't supposed to and getting Scooby snacks. That's exactly how this looks like. For sure.
They had Scooby snacks in school?
Oh yeah.
No way.
Well, in high school, those things were stacked, dude. They would always put them like every 2 days.
What were they? Were they those
Scooby snacks? Yeah, it was like in a blue packet. And
oh
it was
my
like,
gosh!
they were
like, those cinnamon graham crackers, right?
Well,
they were shaped like a bone. Oh, they had Scooby snack gummies.
Scooby snack gummies. Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but at the same
That's
time,
what
I'm
it
like,
was.
how did I not
I'm like
hear
saying
about
Scooby
this?
snacks like in the show there was literally Scooby snacks.
That's
I was like,
what I'm
the cookies, No, I'm sure they had that too. I mean, Scooby-Doo. I mean, marketing people are great at what they're doing.
Well,
but it was Scooby snacks of like these like gummies, and it was. I used to get that all the time. So seeing this, it was like a green and blue bag, just like the cereal.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. So I'm gonna open this box, pour this into my Reptar cereal bowl.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go ahead and try to mic this so that way the ASMR weirdos can loop it and make it their ringtone.
I love it. That's so
all that weird
these
stuff.
Are weird. They're orange for Halloween. Into it.
Yeah, I'm wondering why they're orange.
I'm assuming it's like that, like scary nature, but they definitely had like orange was definitely I feel like a theme. Not a theme in the show. I mean, like, what's her name? Vilma would wear like an orange
you're
dress.
right. Yeah,
and, like I don't know. I feel like a lot of things were orangey in that. Yeah.
What was the
Mystery Machine logo was orange?
What would they say in Spanish instead of Jinkies?
Oh man, I don't even know. It was
Ay Dios mío.
Probably I don't remember. It was like they said like made up words like Jinkies. Like it was like
really
like Soinbergs or like sweep. Literally just noises.
That's crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, Jinkies is just a noise.
I mean, what is Jinkies,
yeah,
right?
It's not really a word. It would be fun to review this cereal, right?
Yeah.
But what would be more fun would be to review this cereal as a character from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I love that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some Scooby-Doo music.
Okay.
And then I'd like for you to take a couple of bites of this cereal and review this as, if you'd like, it could be Scooby. If you'd like, it could even be
Shaggy.
Whoever, any of your, and also it could be the Spanish or English version.
Oh,
whatever
wow. Okay, I'll try to do either one.
Whatever you'd like.
I'll do both.
It's up to you. It's your episode.
Cool. All right, so scene one, Scooby takes a little bit of a... Let's see. Shaggy,
Esto sabe delicioso. Scooby. Dame un poquito, por favor. Delicioso, Shaggy. That's delicious, Shaggy. Since when did you start speaking Spanish? Oh, Shaggy. Oh, Scooby, hace rato yo lo he escuchado. Es que yo he comido mucho y siempre he querido comer este cereal porque está muy rico. That's delicious. Delicioso.
Scooby-Doo
multigrain.
and Shaggy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, give it up for them.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Literally, that's how it was just insane.
This episode of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes is brought to you by Ugly Drinks. Ugly is a company that makes sparkling water with real fruit flavor. No sugar, no sweetener, nothing artificial. And with every purchase, a percentage goes to the Girl Up campaign. Ugly Drinks comes in delicious flavors like peach, lemon lime, cherry, and my personal favorite, watermelon. And guess what, Childlike at Best listeners? You can receive 10% off your first order by using the code UGLYMIKE at checkout. It's true. Usually calling me ugly would be offensive in real life, but at uglydrinks.com, it'll save you money. Visit uglydrinks.com and use the code UGLYMIKE to get 10% off your order. It's time to get real. It's time to get ugly. I want to move on into what you're doing now.
Sure.
Obviously, you do stand-up.
Yes, I do.
And how long have you been doing stand-up?
So stand-up, I took it up only a few months ago.
Yeah.
Like about 6 to 8 months ago.
Man, it's kind of crazy that it's only been that short amount of time for you.
Yeah.
Because you seem so comfortable up there.
Thank you. Yeah.
A lot of it, I'm assuming, has to do with the fact that you're an actor and like things like
I do
that.
improv as well.
Yeah, and you
so
do
that definitely
improv.
helped.
And like, well, like for example, you know, when I was starting out, a lot of people were really shocked for me as well. They'd be like, "You've only been doing this for 3 months? Like how?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I've been playing music and I've been in improv since I was in 10th grade. Like
Right.
it's just
like I think that performing muscle never changes no matter what you're doing. There's
Yeah.
just a lot of different like bones that you have to like move differently when it comes to each one. I
Exactly.
think that's what it is. To put it in
So-
some weird metaphorical way, how the fuck I just made that sound.
what got you into improv?
Well, I started taking improv classes 4 years ago. And I started by taking... I wasn't going to take improv classes. I was taking acting classes at Miami Acting Studio. And shout out to them, but super expensive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you also? I know you do, but for the listener, do you have an agent as well?
I do. I have...
So I'm assuming your agent was like, you should take improv classes because that's
too.
that's what every agent tells you to do.
Yeah. But I sort of wanted to do it like on my own. Like my
Sure.
agent suggested it, but it was never...
But then you're like,
the-
like Whose Line or like, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
I never really thought of it as a bad thing because I
course,
loved
yeah.
Whose Line.
Yeah,
like
of
Whose Line
course.
was my jam from middle school till now. Like I'll
Sure.
watch. I still watch it now. Like I remember watching it in middle school, like with my friends, and no one was watching it. Like no one even knew what it was, and
Sure.
there was just a few of us that were watching it, and it was lovely to watch.
It's still great.
It's amazing. And then watching like Curb Your Enthusiasm and knowing that it's like
it's so good.
pretty much all improvised or like 90% of it. Or like The Office, all these shows that are just based on improv because they're based on character and what the character would do really tapped me into like, okay. So I took that Miami Acting Studio class just to get more into the acting thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the improv thing. I started at level 1, had a great teacher, and it really pumped me up. Like I remember from the first class, I was like, whoa, like I felt something in me that like I've never would have imagined feeling, because I knew I wanted to do acting, but I was still in like the early ages.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not really sure. Like I still went to school. I went to school for something else completely. Like I went to school for like a business and engineering degree,
Holy
which
cow.
is entirely different.
Oh,
but like,
you have something to fall back on.
Right,
I don't,
exactly.
because I went to school for music.
oh, well, that's
so.
great. No, but while I was doing that, while I went to school and did that in FIU,
Yeah.
the same, like by my sophomore year, I was already taking like acting classes that first round, and then I started taking improv classes during that same year. So I was like going full in. You know, the classes are like once a week, 3 nights a day.
Yeah.
3 hours. What am I saying? 3 hours.
3 nights a day.
3 nights a day. It was draining. But yeah, so it was 3-hour classes once a week. And like every single time that I went to that class, I was like, this is like the best I'll ever feel all week.
Yeah.
And I was just doing it. And then I kept growing in it. I got to like level 5, which is like our last level. I did it over at Just a Funny Way.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. And I still took some acting classes, but I was doing more of the improv thing, and I was feeling more like it was more of my like natural ability to be able to do it. And I've been doing it ever since I got into the cast there. I'm a teacher there now. I direct shows there.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
I know that you're in clickbait comedy.
I am. So I found that it's 8 of us. Actually have the shirt on right now. We just made it.
Nice.
Clickbait comedy. Yeah, so that one is just like a few of us. It's 8 of us that we're all part of Just a Funny as well. That's our home theater. But we wanted to do just more like of our own stuff, like just wanted to be able to create more of an online presence.
Sure.
And just out there, like in general, being able to do shows, produce shows in the ways that are different. Not that we're restricted by our theater, just in a way that we're able to do it outside of the theater as well. We're trying to do, like, we've recorded a few sketches here and there, trying to have more online content and just have like sort of like a comedy group rather than just an improv group, so that it's more like anything comedy goes, and we can produce shows and we're able to be in the shows. And we try to have shows once a month, which is lovely. We have a show this Friday, actually, it's a secret location.
Dude, I love this. That's awesome.
Secret location. It's called Get Ghosted. Like, if you get ghosted on your phone.
First of all,
yeah,
I'm going to bring you down a weird rabbit hole, but that reminds me of when I was you remember MySpace, obviously, right?
Please, yeah.
So
all the soundboards there, yes.
Yeah, we all had all the soundboards. So MySpace, like I'm really into music, and I was in bands growing up and things like that.
Yes.
And so I would follow bands on MySpace, and MySpace did these things called secret shows, and they would have these bands where like you wouldn't know
where it was,
what the show was, where it was, what band was playing until an hour before. You would read the MySpace bulletin.
That was actually an inspiration of sort of like what we're doing,
dude.
Yeah. We just wanted to try something different.
Ever since I saw that, I was like, I want to do this so bad, but at the same time, I would always get nervous that I wasn't famous enough for people to come.
But I get you, and we're feeling that too a little bit. Sure. But we're hoping people come out. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be cool.
With you guys, it's different though, because I feel like you dipped your toe in both sides of the pool.
Sure.
I think because. Yeah, you're doing a secret show, secret location, but you're letting people know, hey, there's a show, it's a secret location, you're not going to find out unless you get a ticket.
Yeah.
You're not doing it an hour before you do it.
No, so like the idea behind this is they get the ticket, they buy it on Eventbrite, it's only $10.
Yeah.
Buy it there. You can dress up if you want, etc. We have like treats like candy, etc. for everybody. And it's at the secret location, and then at 10 a.m. that morning, all the emails that like Eventbrite, you register through your ticket or whatever, then we send you the location exactly where it is.
That's so cool.
And then you'll get it through email. It was just like to do something different, We want to try to experience something every month just so that it feels like a different experience, because I feel like some people have a weird connotation of like improv, even like stand-up people.
Yeah.
Which I find super weird because
I've never understood the hatred either. It's all performing. I love everyone. I don't understand why.
It's definitely odd, and it's the fact that I tap into it because if I'm like hanging around, like if like my stand-up friends or whatever, like they know that I do improv and it's totally cool. It's fair game.
Yeah.
But at first, like when I first started and I was just doing like pure open mics, it was like, this guy does improv. Yeah, like that's the introduction.
Yeah.
Give it. This Carlos Hernandez, he does improv over at Just a Funny. Give it up for him.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty much because that was the background, and some people were like, improv, it's funny or whatever, and it's cute. It's cute. Like, that was the thing. It was cute. But there's definitely, like, there's an art to it, and it's comedy, and you're still, like, everything that you're doing, it's just like in a comedy movie or in any of these things that are making you laugh on TV, but you're doing it in front of an audience. It's live. It's that same feeling of, like, rush. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it really helps with stand-up as well, with crowd work, at least.
Of course,
Just because you're able to really bounce off in a way that I don't think a lot of people would be able to with improv. So I definitely suggest whoever can do both without seeing it as something bad to do it, because it's definitely helped me a lot in both aspects. Yeah,
I definitely agree. I've took improv for many years and was a part of an improv team as well.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
In LA or here?
Both, actually.
Okay.
So I started out in LA. I started at I did a couple of intensives at UCB and
Love
things
UCB.
like that. It's a different ball game out there because UCB, for example, there's so many teams at UCB.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Not to mention, there's also UCB teams with team members that are on NBC sitcoms currently.
Oh, it's
crazy.
normal. Like, you go to LA, even in New York.
Yeah.
You go to these shows, and it's people you've seen on TV and movies, and that's what they started. And you get big through that, and eventually...
They do that. Well, they do improv because they love it.
They love it,
Yeah.
and they also started there. That's where
exactly.
they started, and that's where they grew. That's where they learned everything. A lot of these schools have sketch classes as well, which you're able to become a great writer at, and you're able to act in these sketches, which at JTF we're able to do as well, because we have sketch shows as well. So it's sort of like that same idea that we're trying to create here, but it's definitely tough. And I don't know why everybody usually says like, oh, in a city like Miami, everything's tougher, but I don't know. Like if you want to do comedy and that's your goal,
it's not that it's tough. I guess it is, but I don't really know the best way to put it. I've said this on the podcast a few times, but I feel like Miami is starting to understand what comedy is.
I agree. And I don't know I don't want it to feel like it's like, oh, well, I get it now because now 3 years into whatever this game is, or even 6 months in with the stand-up, now it's starting to pick up. But I sort of feel that too, and everybody that's done it for longer feels it.
And here's the and
I don't know exactly why, but
I think this is my thought. But my thought is that people, our generation and younger, we grew up in America. We grew up watching SNL. We grew up understanding what sketch is, what improv is, what stand-up comedy is, all that stuff.
Yeah.
People like our parents, like my parents, for example, they just don't understand what stand-up comedy is.
They don't.
They don't understand why is this guy talking and it isn't a sermon. Or, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
And
man.
so-
Well, now they combine the two in some churches. They just make it funny.
Now they combine the two. And sometimes they're TED
And
Talks.
sometimes a stand-up person would sound like a preacher just because they're trying to take it seriously.
So, and I'm not, again, I don't want to speak for everyone in my parents' generation and older because I don't know.
Do it. They do it for us all the time.
But I'm just assuming that that's what it is. And so, and not to mention, people our age are just constantly looking for the next thing. And so...
Yeah. Oh, thank God you said... I thought it was only me, but yes.
No, we're just... our attention span is very short, because of the internet and things like that.
I know.
And so because we have so many options, it's difficult to be like...
This is what I want.
This is what I want. And hardly ever is it a comedy show.
Yep.
Or whatever. And it
no one even... I don't even know exactly what it is. But I know that if I'm staying on this path, it'll definitely lead me to something that I know... So there's a lot of groundwork that a lot of people have laid, people that have been successful at this, like Nick Kroll, for example, or John Mulaney. These people, they do stand up, they did improv or do improv. They're great at both. They do acting in both realms.
Yeah.
And they're where they are now. They do character acting, they do dramatic acting, they do comedic acting, and they all started from stand up and improv. So when you're seeing that groundwork that's been laid, I think it's you can only do as much as following it, and in your own terms, of course. Yeah. Without copying anybody's niche or style, but just staying within that path, I think, is what helps you keep reaching to whatever goal it is that you might not even know what it is. Yeah. Because it'll lead you to something great at some point, and you have even more than that because you have the music stuff too. So that's just a whole nother. It
is, but it's also very similar. I feel
100%.
I feel like music and comedy are so similar, and I've actually said this on the show many times, but just to tell you, music and comedy are similar, but the differences are the reasons why you either do or don't want to do those things. Sure. So for example, with music, the good thing about music is that you will play a song, and usually people will respect the fact that you're playing a song. They'll be quiet, they'll listen, they'll clap for you.
Nice.
But here's what I find is the downside is that you can go for 6 years playing a song and never realize that it's a bad song.
That's true.
Because people are kind of just clapping because you have a guitar in your hands.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you do stand-up comedy,
You know
you will find out immediately
when it's bad.
when it's bad. So yeah, the embarrassment is snap of a finger. You know what I mean? But you will also get stronger a little bit faster, like that kind of thing.
That's
it's
very
really
true. That's very true.
It's really just about who you are and if you're willing to go through with that, or not,
That's I've never even thought of it that way, but that
it's
is
literally
so true.
It's literally the same thing. I think again, it's a common theme on this podcast, because I do a lot of nerdy themes, but performing should be a 20-sided die. It's all technically the same thing.
It
just
is.
little pieces are
Make it what
a
it is,
little
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think a great person that's great at the 20-sided die analogy are people like Nick Kroll and John Mulaney.
Even
or
Childish Gambino.
I was about to say Donald Glover. Because... First of all,
that guy,
I thought,
wow, that guy is such full-on inspiration.
I actually thought I was going to go one episode without talking about him, but we broke it. So
do you talk about him all the time?
All the
Dude,
time.
if I had a podcast, it would be called Childish Gambino. I wouldn't even try to make a pun. I wouldn't try to be funny about it.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, this is the Welcome to Childish Gambino.
Well, that's part of why I call the Childlike at best.
Oh, there you go. well, you made it a pun, and that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
So... But yeah, like he's one of those people,
dude.
Where
you speak about him every podcast for real.
Not everyone, but
dude, I would.
I'm always talking about
He's
that guy.
amazing, dude.
I can't
it's just
stop.
it's just fathom the idea of being not only doing all those things, but being good at all those things and being
insane.
recognized by the highest degree that you're good at all those things.
Yeah.
It doesn't come often. It's just not possible.
Dude, the insane thing to me is that he was on some radio interview and they asked him, why he doesn't do stand-up anymore.
Yes.
Which I agree. I love his stand-up. And
I only saw him do like the one special.
He did a half hour and a 1 hour.
So he did the half hour and then the weirdo hour.
He did the weirdo hour.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, I don't want to do it because it doesn't interest me. And they were like, really? And he goes, what if they gave you a lot of money? And he said, Comedy Central actually, I can't remember the exact number. But
he said a number and everything? Wow.
But he said the number, and I can't remember it now, but he was like, to where I think not only any comic, I think any regular celebrity who had dabbled in comedy would be like, yeah. I would totally do that.
Of course.
Absolutely. And he's like, it's not about the money. I just don't feel like I want to do it. I don't think that it would be good.
What makes, I think, successful people in this game, like, a thing. Because when you do, like, even if it's something, and that's super, like someone that like doesn't like I'm trying to get paid as much as possible for what I'm doing, and it sounds rare to say it, and even thinking it like, oh well, I wouldn't do it because it doesn't fit in my standards, or I don't feel passionate about it, because right now I'm like, oh, I'll do as much as possible that gets me paid,
right,
that I'm still having fun because I'm performing and I'm in front of a camera or whatever that case might be, or making people laugh, whatever it is. But the fact that he's able to do that, and I'm sure it didn't, like, he did things that he didn't want to do at some point.
Yeah.
But he was like, okay, no, I'm not going to do it. It's not about the money. I'm going to stick to my art. I think that's what makes a lot of these people that are like, that we look up to, successful. Because they just stuck to their gun. They're like, I want to do this. And eventually they do their own thing, and maybe they create their own record labels, or they create their own shows, or they do their own Broadway shows like Nick Kroll and Joe Mulaney did. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, that's what this is what it's really about.
One of the things that Donald did that really inspired what I want to do, and it's going to be, I'm speaking a little into the future, but if it gets to a point where I have the money to be able to do this, I want to tour with my band, and also because what he did was he did something called the I Am Donald tour, and basically what he did was he came out, he did stand up. And then he did a sketch that was also incorporated to the stand-up that allowed him to leave, do like a costume change, and then come back with his band to do Childish Gambino stuff.
Was it like a video sketch, or he did it live?
It was a video sketch.
A video sketch.
Yeah. It was really great, actually.
When was this?
It was 2008. I saw him in Atlanta.
Holy shit.
And he did that, yeah.
That's amazing.
It was actually right after Cul-de-sac came out, which is a mixtape. It was before he even came out.
I've heard it. I've heard all this shit. Yeah.
So it was right after Cul-de-sac came out. And it was, and what's so great, I'm glad that I'm talking to somebody who's heard Cul-de-sac. The first song they did was Let Me Dope You. So it was like the...
So once that comes out, yeah.
So it was all that. And then the video... Basically, the sketch is him. I'm actually getting chills thinking about this. The sketch was him talking to himself in the future. And it was funny. The whole thing was funny. And he was like, you can't play music anymore. Everyone cuts the dick off. And like all this stuff. It's super funny.
He always does the weirdest shit.
Yeah, it's super...
Have you watched this movie, Mystery something?
Mystery Team?
Mystery Team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, well, that's him in a sketch group.
Yeah, with Derek Comedy.
Derek Comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's... they're just so ridiculous.
They're so freaking funny, dude. But
yes,
anyway,
go ahead,
so
yes.
he's talking to himself, and then finally they get to a point in the sketch where he's like... he's like kind of down, and he's like, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then he gets a FaceTime from himself in the future again, and he goes, hey, it's me.
So like a third FaceTime.
Yeah, and he's like, it's me, older Donald. And he's like, you have to do music because now everybody's cutting their boobs off, or like whatever it is,
Yeah.
And so
hiding, yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I need to go out and I need to do music. Apparently, I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% sure.
Yeah.
So they shot this epic thing of him running through an alley, right? As you're hearing the Let Me Dope You thing. So you're hearing... Mm-hmm. All this is live. The band is all out there. And there's lights underneath all the drums. So that way when they hit every snare, it like... The light blasts.
Yeah.
And so... you're seeing all that, and then you realize as he's getting closer that it's the actual venue that you came inside of.
Oh my god!
So he comes in through the back door of the venue. I guess they shot it in the afternoon when they got there, or something like that. Maybe he did it for every club, or maybe it was just that club. I don't know. But they did it, and then he came in right in time just to be like, welcome to the cul-de-sac. This is where the street ends. And I'm like, dude, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's amazing. It's just
awesome.
like that creativity at that level. It's 2008, barely even Childish Gambino.
Right.
Because he just like started dabbling in it. He was still writing for 30 Rock.
He was still writing for 30 Rock. It was before he was on Community, I think.
Right, because Community came out in 2010. So.
Exactly. So it's insane. And then...
It's just that he's just
And now he's doing Coachella,
Well, not even that. Now he's him. Like, people it's just him.
Yeah.
Be like Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like he
Simba.
was
He's
Simba,
dude.
What are you doing, dude? Lando?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to that movie. That movie. I don't want to talk about that movie too much.
Can I tell you?
I
man,
loved him in that movie.
That's the thing. Nothing makes me happier than people going, I hated Solo, but Donald Glover was so good. And I'm like,
too.
Yeah, I know.
Me too.
He was literally perfect.
So good. And he can do no wrong in my eyes. And I know that's
in my opinion, yeah.
He's just, I'm one of his biggest fans.
I agree.
He's just wonderful. And like
I'm
him
and
Chance.
I love Chance.
I really hope they do that. They're supposed to come out with a dual album.
Yeah.
But I don't know when that's going to happen. They said that about frickin' J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, and I don't even know if that ever happened.
Who knows?
But yeah, dude, he's just wonderful. I love that guy. Love him very much. Yeah.
I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to do just like the last question I want for you. Do you have any embarrassing on stage moments?
Oh man, so many.
Yeah. Are there any that you would like to share?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this is embarrassing, but in a way it was funny.
Yeah,
so this
of course. I only want funny stuff.
Yeah, so
if it hurts, don't talk about it.
No. This was purposely embarrassing. It was made to feel embarrassed. It was a sketch. So this is a sketch that we did. Oh man. So we did a sketch. It was a sketch with me and my girlfriend, Erica. In Just a Funny, we have a show called Pre-Written. It's our sketch show, right? So we wrote this sketch. It was someone else wrote it. I forgot exactly who wrote it.
Yeah.
But it was based on the fact that, pretty much to cut to the chase, I was proposing to her. That was a sketch. I was proposing to her in the sketch, and that in the sketch she says no, and she hits me. But we made it seem that it was real, that we cut out, and so the sketch was happening, real things were going on, and me as Carlos, the Carlos that was like a fake Carlos at the moment, but to the audience, they thought that it was really me. I was like, hold on, everybody, I want to wait up, and I just want to do something really quick because it's like February 14th, so I really, really want to do this.
Oh, my gosh.
So, Erica, you've been amazing to me. I love you so much. Will you marry me? And then, like, this is a sketch. It's written. She stops. It's written that she slaps me, and that like she runs away, and I'm left on my own to keep on doing the sketch and taking her part, and then I jump in and like do her part while I'm crying. So it's really funny. But her dad was there watching that night.
Oh no.
And we forgot to tell him this was happening. So
oh my God.
He's watching this like, what the fuck? Like he's front row always.
Sure.
Every show we do. And he's like, what? Just looking around, like everybody's looking around because we really tried to sell it.
Was he
sell
upset?
the fuck out. So we finished the sketch.
Like I like him, but just not that much. Like not enough to marry my daughter.
Yeah, I don't think it was that.
That's
was
like the moment when you really find out if he likes you.
It's like, oh, wow, yeah. It wasn't that. Like, so I did all that. It was great. And she slapped me super hard. Everybody believed it. And towards the end, we thought that people realized that it was a sketch.
Yeah.
And then I go around and everybody's saying congratulations for real.
Oh, my God.
And it wasn't like for real congratulations. And I was like, thank you. It was a sketch. It's fake. It's like, what do you mean? You guys... You just did that. I was like, no, it was a sketch. And then people are just going, like random audience members, people. And then her dad is like, so you didn't think to ask me? Legitimately angry or like upset in the sense that like he wasn't even upset that it was me.
Right.
I get along with her dad great. Everybody's like, we're super cool.
He was probably upset.
He was just like that. I didn't ask.
Yeah, you didn't ask.
And I was like,
him.
it was
you
a
didn't
sketch.
Take the
And like it was like, oh, well, still, you should have asked. Why didn't you guys tell me? And I was just like, what the fuck? Like we sold it so hard. So I was proud of that aspect.
Yeah.
That everybody sincerely said congratulations. And on Facebook, someone even said congrats on the engagement.
Oh
someone
my
that knew me.
gosh.
And I had to like comment on it. It was like, thank you, but it was a sketch. So it's just weird. It was definitely awkward and like embarrassing.
Did she say yes and then slap you?
So she said no and she slapped me.
So why is everyone congratulating you?
Because then after like she came back and like she was like, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to say that.
Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah. Because I was like,
she said no, slap me, and then in the middle of it, she like opens the door, and then she's like, "Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll take you back," or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's right. I totally forgot. Congratulations on not getting engaged.
That's what
and
I'm
getting
saying.
dumb.
Like, and most people would be like, "Sorry, kid."
That's
like,
true. That's true.
You know? Oh
it's
my
funny
gosh.
if it was that. Everybody was saying congratulations because well, you're not married. Thank God.
Thank God you're not married.
But yeah, it was
dude.
so awkward. Mostly because of like that interaction that like her dad believed it, and I was like. I knew deep inside, I thought he deep inside knew that it was a sketch.
Yeah.
Because first of all, that's super fucking tacky
Yeah.
that I would do that in the middle of a fucking show.
Yuck.
Like I don't like when I see that, like when people do it in like basketball shows, you've seen that and people get dumped
Yeah,
in there.
dude. Oh my
Jesus
gosh.
Christ, dude. It's
Bro,
the
there's a story.
cringiest shit on earth.
It's
dude.
another comic story. I can't remember who it was, but he was doing a show where the guy was super drunk, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want you to stop the show because I want to, propose to my girlfriend or whatever."
Oh, jeez.
And he's like,
Oh, jeez.
The thing is, like, can you at least let me like tell a couple of jokes? And he's like, "No, I want it to be the first thing before you even start the show."
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. So
What a
he's like,
horrible idea.
so he comes out and he's like, "I'm just trying, like, I just want to get one joke out before I let it."
It makes sense.
Which makes sense. You're there for a comedy show. He's like, at least just let me get one joke out. He tries, and the guy's in the front row, like, "Hey," like super drunk, and he's like, "All right, whatever her name is, like Bridget, this guy has something to say to you." And the guy's like, "Bridget, we've known each other for 3 years, and I just wanted to ask, will you marry me?"
Knowing each other,
And-
not even said like loved each other.
Bro, and here's the worst part. The worst part is the girl goes, the answer is no.
Whoa. He's done this to every venue. He goes to McDonald's and tells them, "Hey, I just want you to do this real quick. Sir, I got to take
And
your
it's
order."
just like, but like I felt bad, of course, for the guy, but worse for the comic.
Of course.
Because now it's like, "Hey guys, like remember?"
Anyway, so how about airplanes, all right? Yeah.
Like,
boom.
how is
wow.
anything going to be funny after that awkward
Nothing.
moment?
I mean,
Like,
you can make it funny, but
of course, yeah.
But dude, that's
to
so
the
awkward.
detriment of the guy.
It's so awkward. Something like that happened to me, but it wasn't. So I asked. It wasn't really like that, but it was like a guy. I do this joke on stage that I'm like, I think you heard it when we saw each other at the Improv. That I'm like, can you curse in here? I don't know exactly how curse.
Say whatever you want.
I think I've said fuck like 3 times.
Yeah,
But
like you've been cursing this whole episode, and you're like,
I usually do. Can I curse, by the way?
I just wanted
Can
to
I
know.
fucking curse real quick? So
Yes, you can say whatever you want.
So anyway, I say this joke. I'm like, oh, who here is Hispanic? And I'm like, oh, great. And I ask this guy, oh, you're Hispanic? Oh, no, I'm not Hispanic. He's like, no, I'm not Hispanic. I'm like, oh, you have Hispanic friends, though? And he's like, yeah, I have Hispanic friends. I'm like, you know how Hispanic people are really loving and they're really sweet to each other? Like, you can kiss people on the cheek no matter who they are, and it's super fair. Like, you can even kiss, like, if you're guys, you can kiss on the cheek, and you're not judged by anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for example, like, for instance, do you kiss your dad on the cheek? And he's like, my dad's been dead since 2002.
I actually saw this.
You saw this?
Yes.
Oh, God. So then he's like, my dad's been dead. So I usually follow it up with like, the joke usually, this is the intro to the joke. Oh, do you kiss your dad on the cheek?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Do you ever say no homo afterwards just so he knows?
No.
So I say that, right. So so it's stupid and I get rid of it. And then I go into it and I'm like, oh, so he's like, my dad's been dead since 2002.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. And the whole room goes quiet. Because I'm like, this is like my setup to the joke.
Yeah.
And like, it was so awkward. And I was like, the only thing I could say was like, all right, would you ever kiss your dead dad on the cheek?
Yeah.
And then it was like, he burst into laughter or
I'll
whatever.
tell you this,
but
though,
like, it was
I
so
think-
tense. And then like, I was like, I could ruin this guy's whole like childhood because I just said this, but I was like, let me see if like I take the air, like the air was
think
taken out of the room and I put it back in.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, good. But it was definitely like I was so embarrassed and tense that I said that at the moment. Like I was still going on with my set, and the joke is stupid in the end. But it was just the fact that happened. It was super embarrassing. And
First of all, I think that you handled it perfectly because you just made it a joke. And you also didn't make it a tacky joke. You just made it a joke. You know what I mean? Which is your job as a comedian.
Yeah.
You know, that's happened to me many times. You know, like that's happened to me. I do a joke that's a lot like that where I do a little bit of it's pre-planned crowd work a little bit.
Sort of. Yeah. I think it's always good to have a little bit of that.
It's only pre-planned in the sense of like, you know where the punchline is, but you're kind of rolling the dice in the sense of like you never know what anyone's gonna say.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like that punchline, that wasn't the punchline, obviously.
Exactly.
Like the whole, like the thing that I told you, the no homo thing is not even like, it's like an intro just so it's like stupid and people are like, oh, I remember when people used to say that.
Right.
And then I go into like the punchline, but this time I just said it and everybody just burst
So,
into
like,
it. I was like, oh, cool.
The joke that I have is I'm sure you've heard it, but it's a newer joke that I've been doing where I ask people about what cereal they like.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the punchline is always the same, but you just never know
what's going to go in between.
What anyone's going to say. Like for example, like I did it at the Improv with when you were there. And I asked someone, and then another lady just answered, and I'm like, okay, I was talking to them, but you know, let's try this again. You know, it's always different. Like either the person doesn't want to talk, and you're just like, okay, let's try this again. What's your favorite? Like they think that some people think you're going to make fun of them, and I get that, you know.
Yeah, and some people just love hearing,
and some people want to be made fun of, you know. Exactly.
It's like roast me, or whatever.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, but. It's one of the reasons why I don't like crowd work, but also I've been like, you have to do things that make you uncomfortable because
I agree. I used to feel like I just don't want people to like ruin my joke, but now I'm starting to be more of the mindset like putting some crowd work in between it. It'll engage more people, I think.
Yeah.
And then they'll feel more like in tune with what you're saying, and then you
feel
can
way
sort
more
of,
connected.
They do.
Every time I've done crowd work where it went successfully, it connects people way more, and it makes the punchline hit harder.
So much better because they're already there. They're like riding the roller coaster. Like go into that loop with me and see where it goes.
Like for example, one of my best crowd work moments ever was that this drunk girl she wasn't heckling me, but she was like talking through my entire set as
Love
if she
those.
was as if she was having a conversation with me.
Oh.
So I would say things.
God,
You know
yeah.
how like when you
Yes.
stand up, you have rhetorical questions.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, not that time. I didn't do it this time. What are you doing? It's not a conversation. It's not a podcast, dude.
Exactly.
Next time you should, we should do that. Like,
Yeah.
bring out another mic. Here you go. Anyway, so you like cereal?
So one of the things that I say is I go, yeah, am I right, Tiffany, or whatever your name is? Because this is another thing about me. It might just be the style of jokes that I make.
Sure.
It usually relates most to women. Like, I've never had a guy heckler ever. Like, it's always been a woman. Because a lot of the things that I talk about, like I talk about Disney movies, I talk about Full House, I talk about, like cereals and princesses and all these different kinds of things. And like a lot of things, and I do the same thing with music. Like I make very like hopeless romantic pop songs.
Sure.
It's more like guys are like, man, that's gay. Like,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
a lot of what I do is very geared towards women, and that's fine.
That guy would still say, by the way, my dad's been that doesn't too. Whatever setup you're gonna do, even if it doesn't involve his dad.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I I was like, oh, yeah, am I right, Tiffany, or whatever your name is? And it usually always gets like a laugh.
A little joke, because Tiffany. Yeah.
But it's like a small joke to be. It's almost like a warning shot to be like, hey, like I hear you, but shut up.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
She's like, yeah.
And then she was like, she like snapped back real quick at me.
Stop.
And
nice.
she was like, actually, my name's Stephanie.
What?
Right?
Wow. Okay.
And then it took the air out of the room. I went into what
That's not even like mean. What you said.
No, it wasn't mean. But have you ever these moments? I like to equate it to bullet time in the Matrix, where like it feels like everything is going in slow motion.
Slow-mo, yeah.
And you can hear the joke in your head, and you're like, man, the moment that they hear this is going to be it.
Yeah.
And she's like, actually, it's Stephanie. And then I just hit her back with like, I knew it was one of the girls from Full House. And then everyone just started dying laughing. And then it was perfect because it went into my Full
the
House
next
bit.
joke.
You know what I mean? So and then
I love when that happens. I've had like sort of like a similar experience with things like that. Yeah,
Well-
like when you see transitions work that you didn't even plan on them working.
Exactly.
And like it just happened naturally and organically. That's when I think it adds a lot of.
Yeah,
It's
I
just like,
completely
whoa, holy
agree.
shit, I just did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing, because I was just interested. You also have a hip hop comedy duo with
Yes,
Oscar.
I do. You know Oscar?
Yeah, I love Oscar, dude.
Oh,
That
awesome.
dude is so funny.
Love him.
And he's super talented.
Love him. Yeah.
It's called Chico's AF.
It's called Chico's AF or
Yeah.
Chico's ass fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys played Revolution. So
We're playing Revolution.
Oh, you're playing it. Okay.
Thursday.
Okay.
Playing Revolution on Thursday. Yeah, it's super
That's
excited.
insane.
Yeah, we got so Raw Artists Miami is this organization that they put together
Showcases.
They put together showcases. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
So they put together showcases. They found me on Instagram. They went through some of my stuff. I don't know exactly how they found me, but I know
Yeah.
like one of them saw our show because we performed in Fuacata Festival, which is
Yeah.
Just a funny. We had like a
Yeah,
it's like
I
a Spanglish festival.
Yeah, I know you guys have performed a bunch.
We've been performing a few times.
Yeah.
We went to Chicago. We got into the Chicago Musical Improv Festival.
Exactly,
It was super
with
fun.
that, yeah.
And then this person saw it. They contacted me through Instagram, and we're performing them on Thursday. We're super excited. It's a huge venue.
I know.
A lot of different artists are performing their singers, and there's also like it's a variety
Yeah.
type of show because there's
Visual
also going to be
art
visual
and-
arts and all that stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get to fuck around. What we do is pretty much we do. It sort of like seeps into like it's my favorite thing to do.
Sure.
Because it's pretty much putting all the things I love in one little package.
Yeah.
And that Oscar likes really a lot as well. Like I have duos with other people. I also have a duo called On Tuck with my friend Chris, which we do like it's more of like a narrative-y improv musical.
Yeah.
But it's also incorporates hip hop. But with this, it's more interactive.
Yeah.
Because what we do is like we talk to the audience. We pretty much like talk to them, do a little bit of crowd work ish. We just do their interviews, etc. We ask them a few questions, and then we freestyle rap about whatever the story was. We do like a little song. One of us beatboxes, the other one does the song, and then we go into like a scene based on that.
Do you live beatbox, or do you have a pedal or a loop pedal, or
No, we live beatbox. We just
Okay,
do it
cool.
like literally just like
Yeah.
within it, and then like one of us will take it, and then the other one will rap. One of us will take, and we'll do it three or four times, and then we like bring it together in this nice little loop. At
Nice. And the Chicago Improv Festival, how was that?
Amazing. Oh my God, so fun.
How did the Chicago crowd
Enjoy the Miami?
Enjoy the Miami. I'm just curious.
We just really we went super. We were like, if we're going to take Miami and we're going to represent Miami.
Yeah.
Because there was only two groups from Miami, us and this group called Major Triad, which is also, it's people from Clickbait Comedy, actually.
Yeah.
Michelle, Amanda, they're great. Love those. I actually took improv classes with them at the beginning of my curve. So I love those ladies. But yeah, they were performing for Miami, and then we were performing for Miami as well, which is chic as fuck. Very different shows. They're just super emotional, and they take you on this really nice, emotional and sweet ride.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Michelle, Amanda, and Eric, they're amazing. But me and him are just like, hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, let's fuck around. Or it's like a party.
Right.
So we even opened, we were like, let's take it really deep. And we opened with a Bad Bunny song just to make it really Miami. And everybody loved it. We pretty much got a standing ovation from those people. And it was just insane to see, because of that same mentality of the Miami thing, right? People have a negative connotation sometimes of Miami and their energy and just the way that Miami is ran. And I get it in some sort of way, but being able to bring that in a way that the show is still smart. It was still funny. It was still showing a lot of different talents that we were able to provide for that crowd that they already have. Chicago is it's the mecca of improv.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it at that theater, which is the IO Theater, which is where Chris Farley came from.
Yeah, I know.
All this incredible people came from. Was amazing to do, and they reacted really well to it. Yeah, we got someone to ask us to perform at the Detroit festival.
Nice.
I don't know when that is, but yeah, it was really dope. It was really, really cool.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
And Stacy Smith, who runs that, shout out to her. She runs that festival, and she's doing incredible things. And she was really, really, really sweet.
Yeah, man.
To everyone.
Dude, this has been such a good podcast.
Dude.
I've had a blast.
This is the roller coaster of.
I know.
I think my life was opened. And someone opened the whole door. And it's there we go. Everything you've ever wanted to.
Yeah, dude. And
go into.
The thing is, it's not something that I know that I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast. I know I talked to a lot of my guests about it or my friends about it. But I really think that who you were as a kid represents who you are now.
I think so.
And that's why I like going on this journey on these podcasts.
It's
because
wonderful.
You really start to realize, especially with performers, that we were always the same person. And
it's true.
In fact, we're constantly not to sound weird, but as adults, we're trying to satisfy that younger version of ourselves all the time.
I think that's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's looking at yourself, and when you were when I was 10 years old, watching Chabelo, or when I was watching Scooby in Spanish, and being you're going to be able to perform at Revolution Live.
Exactly.
And beatbox and freestyle the music that you love.
Yeah.
Out there with your friend, or you're going to be able to go to Chicago, or you're going to be able to be in a commercial. You're going to be able to do all these things that you would only have dreamed of.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's good to do it for your fans, and it's good to do it for your family, and it's good to do it, but I think the main reason is probably to satisfy the kid that we once were, to really be look what you're doing and what you let yourself do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I seriously do think that.
The hope is that if you were to travel back in time and see yourself as a kid, would that version of you think that you're cool now?
Right. Would they be oh, dude, I want to do what you're doing?
Yeah. Sometimes that actually helps me out a little bit, because even when I'm in the negative,
that's a great,
because sometimes I'm just man, I went on this callback for this commercial, but they didn't pick me or whatever. And then I'm dude, 10-year-old you would be so stoked that you even got a callback to.
You even got an audition.
Yeah.
You even got to be in the room. I had an audition today for this commercial.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I had to be this Anchorman character type.
Nice.
Really funny, really cool. And I was going into it, and there was only 6 of us that were there. And I was the fact that I'm here, and I do several auditions, but the fact that I'm here right now, and I thought about this, I was this is already cool.
Yeah.
This is insane every time. It's super, I don't know. It just makes you feel proud.
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
like seeing yourself as a kid and doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. Where can people find you, Carlos?
I'm on Instagram at Carlos, CAHRLOS. You can also follow me on Facebook at Hey Carlos Hernandez. You can find me there. Also, shout out to my group, Clickbait Comedy.
Yep.
Clickbait Comedy, you can follow us at Clickbait Comedy. You spell click, the nice little pun of click, like CLIQUE, bait comedy. And yeah, love all those guys. Love every single one of the people that I perform with. I also perform at Just a Funny, who you can find at Just a Funny on Instagram or on Facebook. And I'll shout out my whole family if I have to.
Dude. Yeah.
But yeah,
Chico's AF.
Chico's AF. You can follow us on Facebook, Chico's AF Comedy, if you'd like that. But yeah. I'm trying to. I know I do a lot, but it's I definitely.
It's not a bad thing that you do a lot.
Yeah,
of
I can do. It sometimes feels like too much.
Sure.
But I love doing it, and I love being able to be able to talk to you, Mike.
Absolutely,
so I appreciate
man.
it.
That's really sweet, and I'm really glad that you came here. This was such a blast. For me, you can follow me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And that's it, man. This has been an episode. Thank you so much for listening. Tell all of your friends and your family. Subscribe. Let's grow this family to a bigger family than it already is. Bye, besties.